All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get to the main body of the video, I've done something with this video that I've never done in the past. I actually posted this video last night, and probably about an hour after putting it up, I started getting comments, right? And I was reading the comments, and it was pretty late, I guess around 11 or so. And I noticed that a lot of people were seeing something in the video itself that I knew wasn't right. It's basically eye shine. There is one part in this video where I know there is a light and people think it's eye shine. And before it got out of hand, and you know, it wasn't just one person, it was a lot of people. And I have no idea how many views a video is ever going to get. It could be 300, it could be 42,000 for all I know, right? But before it got out of hand, I wanted people to know, you know, that this is not eye shine. There's another one that I had questions about. Well, I could debunk that in real time. So I got off my butt and I went the 500 yards out of my woods and I went and found that. And it's just a light. It would probably be more fun for people if I just let you think that it's eye shine, but that's not what we're doing here, you know. And I should have known, especially with that one. You guys are very observant. A lot of you go through, you know, videos frame by frame. The one eye shine, and I'll show you guys when we get to that point. I mean, I knew it was a light standing there, and I've seen it before. And sometimes I just take things for granted, you know, because it's my own property and I just know where things are, you know. But that's really on me. And then there was at least one person that kind of didn't get the main subject matter of the video itself, and that's also on me. I thought it was super obvious, but if one person is missing it, I didn't do my job. So I went back, made a few changes, and when we get to those points in the video, you know, I want people to know that what the truth is about what they're seeing, okay? And again, that's why I did it. I don't want people to get caught up in things that are not there, because we are going after the truth, okay? Not just entertainment. But I appreciate everyone. I had 140 views at that point. If you commented, if you feel like it and you watch the video again, please go back and put your comment back up, because I really do appreciate the comments and I appreciate the support. But if not, I apologize. But again, the truth is more important than anything else, more important than views or comments or anything like that, okay? But thanks again, guys. Now let's get back to the main video.
Slipped away, no more words for you. Take it back, no matter what you do. The truth, breathe it out, face your boundaries. Our mission trudge through the mud of time. This truth casts shadows in the dark. Shadows in the dark.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got a video the other night that is pretty much mind-blowing, and something I've been trying to get on video. I almost said film. Shows you how old I am. Something I've been trying to get on video for a very long time. Before I get to that, excuse the echo in the room. This is a fairly new office. We did some remodeling. I moved all my stuff in here, and it's not really set up for video and doing a podcast yet. So you're going to hear a little bit of echo. Just ignore that, please. The video itself. It's not going to prove the existence of Sasquatch, I know that. But what it does do is help prove that what I have been claiming for years is true. That I am having interactions with a flesh and blood creature that is capable of physically doing things that no other animal in the state of Georgia is capable of doing. And it's a really good video to highlight that fact. And I am more than happy with the result. The amount of time and effort that has gone into getting a video like this is pretty much astounding. It's required patience I didn't think I was capable of. I've probably I don't know, I've probably spent over 1,000 hours in these woods. I've purchased, just on cameras alone, like, I don't even know, 3 thermal cameras, about 7 different types of night vision cameras, game cameras. I've gotten recorders. I got a like $700 parabolic. Those of you that have been following me for years, and there's a number of you that have been following for a while. We've had a YouTube channel for about 4 years now. I started out on Facebook. Some of you I know from Facebook, where I did things on Facebook for a couple of years, and then we all started the Sasquatch Encounter Brigade. Those of you that have been following for a number of years will realize just why this video is so important. Before we get to that video, I really want to, I just want to say thank you. There's a lot of you that have, like I said, been following for years, and you really didn't know me from Adam. You've gotten to know me from the videos, I guess, as much as you can from YouTube videos, and you've decided for whatever reason to not only trust me but support me, and I do not take that for granted. I do this for a number of reasons. In the beginning, it was out of necessity. Then it just became an infatuation. I could not believe that these creatures were real. There are still nights where I lay my head down at night and I think to myself, I cannot believe they are real. Still blows my mind, and they are 100%. The afternoon that me, Scott, and Joe had our sightings, I think about that afternoon all the time, and it really, it really affected me, and it's given me this drive. Ever since that day, I've known that it is possible to prove that these creatures do exist. If we would have been prepared in the manner in which we should have been prepared, we could have done that. So I've taken the steps to try to be as prepared as I possibly can to try to prove their existence. Another part of it, and another reason why I do what I do, is just the chase itself. It's thrilling. It's fun. The chase is the reward. A little bit of an adrenaline rush, right? Some adventure. But there's another part that it's really kind of why initially me and Captain Joe decided to start the YouTube channel. He wanted me to do a podcast with him, and I just told him no. I had no interest in doing that. And then I thought about the fact that, this dude was given a medal by Obama from losing his leg while he was saving civilians. And he had a sighting, and there was a part of him that felt like he had to hide that from people for a number of years. And that didn't sit well with me. And during the research that I had done in the podcast I listened to, there were people from all walks of life, very good, honest, hardworking, intelligent individuals that have seen these creatures, and they're afraid to talk about it. And that never sat well with me. And there's also a part of me that wants to just be able to say, I told you so. And one thing in life that would make me extremely happy would be to not only prove the existence of these creatures, but to get a video or a piece of evidence that proves their existence, that those of you that have followed and watched and supported me for years can show to the people in your lives and say, I told you so. I want vindication for everyone. Now, maybe that's, I'd probably look better if I sat here and said, I'm trying to save the Sasquatch, okay? And there are people that honestly believe that way, and they think that maybe if they prove their existence, they can save more habitat and all that. I don't believe that at all, because I know how our government works. I know they know that these things exist. The odds are some of the property, some of the land that we have set aside for humans is probably set aside for them. They're never going to admit to their existence. They're never going to protect them openly. So it's just not something I bother with. This has all been about the chase itself and the truth. I want people to have the truth when they go out in the woods, when they decide to take
their children out into wilderness areas, they have a freaking right to know what's out there with them. I did not know whether my children were in danger or not. Now, eventually, when I realized the more interactions I had, the less aggressive they were. And the only reason why they were aggressive, because I was aggressive at first. You know, the more time went on, the more confident I was that no one was in danger. And also you have the evidence. They've never hurt any of my animals. They've had plenty of opportunity. They don't even try to like scare my children. There's been a few things that have happened to my son, but nothing, you know, crazy. And there's been ample opportunity if they wanted to do something like that, and they have not. I've seen no indication that they want to hurt anybody. Now, when it comes to other creatures in other parts of the United States of America, I don't know. We do not have enough information, okay? There's a good possibility that maybe they are violent. But we need to know these things, and people have a right to know. But this video is dedicated to all of you that have followed and supported for all these years. And I just want to say thank you. Let's get to the video.
The last video I posted was of interactions I had and the stuff the camera picked up down on the tripod, right? Only had one camera on the tripod. Well, a few days later, I took this system out there. It's got 4 cameras on it. You've got 2 Waze cameras right here facing either direction. And then I've got the body cameras right here. I went down to OP Ghost Monkey, my sitting spot, that clearing area where the log is. I took it down there, I set it up on a big rock that's sitting out there, and I was already getting indications or indicators that they were around, a couple noises, a couple things that sounded like throws. Then again, this time of year, I've got to be super careful because there are acorns and leaves and everything else falling out of the tree, right? So I'm pretty sure that they're down there though, but they weren't doing anything crazy. So I just leave the setup down there. I leave it there for 3 hours and 25 minutes. I go back down there, I think it's around 12:30, something like that. I get down there, I gave it like, I don't know, 5 to 8 minutes. Nothing crazy happened. So I packed everything up. And what I did is I took one of the body cameras off and I put it on my chest. I took the other one off the back and put it in my back pocket. And these 2 were still running. Let's go down to the sitting spot and I'll walk you through everything that happened after that, all right? Came back out, I retrieved it. And then as I'm making my way back, I'm coming up through here, and I can't remember exactly where I was at, but I heard an object hit the ground behind me, back that direction somewhere. So I'll walk up, hear a few noises, and I set my tripod up right here. One of the cameras, unfortunately, is facing the tree itself, but the other one is faced back this way, luckily. After I listen for a minute, I hear them make this particular noise that they've been making here lately, and you'll see me try to imitate it. Well, you'll actually hear them do it in the video. It's like they're hitting they're either grabbing or hitting a limb really quickly, okay? I don't really know how to describe it. Well, after I heard them do it, I bent down right here and grabbed a stick and broke it off, and I did the same thing, and I hit this. I went whack, 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 whack. Well, I stood up, and right after I stood up, there is an object that comes flying by me and hits the ground like really close to my feet. I actually thought it came from that direction. I was wrong. It actually came from back this way. Now, the body camera didn't catch it because it was so close, like it was like right at my feet somewhere. The camera that I had leaning up against a tree, dude, it got a perfect shot of the object. And it is unmistakable. There's no way in the world that anyone can claim that this is an object falling out of a tree. All right, first you're going to see the perspective from the body camera, and the very first throw lands behind me. Then we're going to switch to the perspective of the camera that I have on the tripod that I'm carrying over my shoulder, all the way up to where I lean it up against the tree. And then it goes back to the body camera perspective. Cool. Go. All right, now this is the most important part of the video. I hear the slapping noise that they're making, whatever that weird fast stick noise is. I bend down, I slap the sapling with a stick, trying to mimic that noise, okay? This is the part of the video where right in front of me, you're going to see what appears to be eye shine. It's not, it's a light, okay? So just ignore that, because right after I do this slapping noise, I stand up and there is a throw. In the body camera, you can't see the throw, okay? You will not see the object, but you can hear it. It's very obvious. Then we're gonna switch over to the perspective from the camera that's leaning against the tree. It records the throw, and it is super obvious. It comes in on the ground. It's like the bottom left-hand side of the screen. It's a very obvious round white object that's going across the ground. It is not in the air. It's going right across the ground from right to left. There's that sound they did the other night. Let's see if I can do it. close. All right, one more time together. I tap the sapling, stand up. You're going to be able to hear the throw come in, but not see it because you're seeing the body cam version. It lands right at my feet, but it's dark. I can't see it. I throw my stick. It's too close. This is from the camera leaning against the tree. The thing that goes by right now, that is just a bug. I hit the sapling. I stand up, and here comes the throw. And I throw my stick. Here's the zoomed in part. It's going right across the ground. That is not in the air because you can hear it going across the ground. That's what makes this so important and so convincing. This is not something falling out of a tree. It's impossible. All right, back to the rest of the video. Dude, this is nuts. My God, man. Dude, that was freaking close. That was like... All right, here we go. Here. Come on. What's so amazing about this video is, all these years, it's been difficult to catch these throws on video. I've probably recorded maybe 5 or 6 of them before, but there's a big difference in between being in the woods and experiencing these things yourself and then you guys watching a video. Like, first of all, when you're out in the woods, especially this time of year, there's all kinds of stuff falling off the trees. You have acorns, pine cones. Rule number one, like I always say, is sticks fall out of trees, right? You have the natural noises and activity that goes on in the woods. Then you've got animals. You've got all kinds of animals that run around in the woods at night. So not every single sound or everything that happens is a Sasquatch, but there's some super obvious things that do happen that I don't really have a hard time telling in person, but when it comes to you guys, it's very, it doesn't translate very well. And that's why I try to use a combination of the audio and the video, because I can tell, like a couple videos ago, I'm getting these objects thrown from, God, I don't even know how far away, 50 yards. One of the objects had an 8-second hang time. It was in the air from the time it left until the time it hit for 8 seconds, and I experienced that in person. But like on video, the couple times I have recorded the throws, all you guys are getting is just usually a streak of an object that goes in front of the camera, and that's it. I think I had one that bounced in one time. I got a pretty good recording of that. Another one was during the night that I actually got the thermal video, and they were throwing objects as I'm like looking through the woods with the thermal camera, and I've got a stick that comes right down in front of me. But there's no real way for me to prove 100% to you guys that that's what's going on, because a detractor or a skeptic can easily just say, well, that looks like something falling out of a tree. That's not what this video is. That's why it's so freaking awesome. There's no way in the world that anybody can claim that this object is falling out of a tree. This object was 100% thrown. We're getting closer. This is, exactly the type of activity I have been trying to record. I've gotten tons of audio over the years of all this activity and stuff, but it's not good enough. And plus there's always a chance. What if I make a mistake? What if I misidentify something? Not every single sound is going to be a Sasquatch. But when you get a video like this, it's very hard to deny. And that's why I'm so happy about this one. The throw was so close to me that the body camera didn't pick it up, but that other camera did, right? And I thought it came from in front of me. Well, it didn't. It came from my right. I had no idea, I got that. And it was super loud and super close, but I still didn't realize where it came from. So that's one thing I've got to look out for in the future. But I think this is, I'm going to make a real honest effort to never go out there without a 4-camera setup. There's a reason why I have it like that. Sometimes I get lazy or in a hurry or whatever, and I just want to use one camera. I can't let that happen again. In fact, if that other camera would have been facing in the right direction, I would have got the throw incoming, right? But unfortunately, it was leaning up against the tree. But anyway, there was a comment that somebody made on a video the other day, and it was a good comment, and they asked a question. They asked, why don't I try to approach them when they throw things at me or when I'm having interactions? They basically asked, what my goal, if my goal isn't to have a face-to-face interaction, then why am I doing this? And if I'm not trying to have a face-to-face interaction, is that because I'm afraid they're going to do something to me after all these years? Probably the long version of this is go watch They Exist, 7 Years of Sasquatch in Georgia. Okay, it's the documentary I put out, I don't know, maybe 5 videos ago. There's part 1 and part 2. And that explains from beginning to end how all of this started, a lot of the things I did, the fact that I was super aggressive at first, and then when I found out what I was dealing with, I quit being aggressive. And then that's when things changed. I still did a little bit of like chasing and a little bit of sneaking around, and I was hiding cameras inside of things, putting out game cameras and all this other stuff, and none of it was working. What worked is me not being aggressive and me not chasing them and acting like I was just very appreciative, like a happy kid that was super excited that somebody was playing with me is how I started to act when they were around. I think the key to every bit of this has been to not be aggressive. I've tried to approach. I've tried running, actually, in the past towards, the sounds and everything else. But just like in the video, when I'm up there in that clearing at OP Ghost Monkey, there's stuff going on, let's say 30 yards away. Okay. I know they're on the other side of the creek at least. Well, after I get my stuff together and I move back towards the house, they get closer. If I would have gone towards them, all they would have done is back up. If they're in front of me, they're not going, they've never allowed me to get close on like me approaching. They've gotten close in the past, but that's coming up behind me. And I think it's a game to them. And I think they're trying to, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're trying to freak me out. But it just seems like a game. Like they're trying to see how close they can get to me. And anytime they do that, they're always coming up from behind me. It's never from in front, right? So these creatures have to be in control at all times, is one thing I've learned. The second thing I've learned, probably the most important thing, is patience. This has required a level of patience that I didn't even know I was capable of, to be completely honest with you. And for some people, and the fact of the matter is, there's no way, unless you are one of those people who have followed me from the very beginning, that you're going to know everything that I've done and everything that I've tried. I get a lot of suggestions, and a lot of times I've already done that. In fact, I've probably already done it several years ago, and it just didn't work. You guys are seeing the results of all the things that didn't work, and then now the one thing that is working. You are seeing my successes. If I can move beyond that, I will. I would love to have a face-to-face interaction. How I accomplish doing that, I don't know. If you'll notice at the very end of the video, I sat down on the ground and my arms go up like this. That's one thing I've started doing. Is I go and I was sitting right in the moonlight. It looks pretty bright out there to you because you're seeing a video in a night vision camera. There is no light. It's just moonlight. I'm not using a flashlight. I've got one on my arm. I rigged up a thing to put around my wrist, but there is no actual light. So I walked up after all that happened and I found where the moon was, lighting up the whole ground at a certain spot. And I went and sat down and I just put my arms up like this where they could see my hands. And I sat there for about 10 minutes. I'm just going to keep trying to do stuff like that to try to get them to approach me. I do not believe me approaching them is ever really going to work. And I've mentioned this before. I honestly think what's going to happen is allow them to approach me from behind. And I think they're probably going to try to touch me. I've got to work up to that. I'm not really scared of them. I respect them. I do get scared just because it's very difficult night after night after night to put myself in a situation where I know I have zero control. Okay. I'm built to where I want to have control. I don't want to get hurt or taken advantage of, or, I'm very protective of the people I love. I'm not accustomed to just sitting back and just allowing things to happen, right? But I know they outclass me by every metric. There's nothing I'd be able to do if they decided to hurt me. And it's been, again, almost 8 years, and they've never shown any real aggression. They growled at me like 3 times, but that was during the time where I was being aggressive. But there's the part of me that, it's only natural. It's instinct, survival instinct. I just kind of have to let go. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Any questions, comments, criticisms, let me know. I've still got 3 hours and 25 minutes of video to go through. Hopefully we've got something on there. I don't know. We'll see. But other than that, again, thank you very much for all of your support. And patience pays off. We're making progress. And for those of you that hadn't been around, I know it's a rock, but it took a lot to get that rock on video. All right, for all you researchers out there, this is my wrist rig. All this is a clip from a holster, and I rigged this headlamp to it. Now, the reason why I do this is, number one, I don't want a headlamp on my head because I want to be able to look around. If I'm using a light and I hear a noise, I want to be able to turn my head and look towards that noise and not shine that area with a light. I also want to be hands-free, so I can use both my hands but still have a light. And the reason why I have it on the bottom is when I'm walking in the woods, I'm like this, so the light is not blinding me and is not taking away my night vision.
What out of you? What out of you? Unspoken truth left from you. Slipped away, no more words for you. Take it back, no matter what you do. The truth, bleed it out. Face your boundaries. Our mission trudge through the mud of time. This truth, cast shadows in the dark. Shadows in the dark. I'm too far in and too far gone. The only way in is through in the darkness I see. What you've taken from me, something I had all along. The truth, just breathe the truth. I cast shadows, it's me. Breathe it out, make your battle marks. Our mission trudge through the mud of time. This truth, cast shadows in the dark. Shadows in the dark. Shadows in the dark. Shadows in the dark. Shadows in the dark.